powered by Riverside FM.
Welcome back, friends, to the Pine Grove Briar, your favorite shady holler of history, tobacco, and tales both tall and true. I'm your host, sitting here with a loaded bowl and heart full of curiosity. I've got Mountain Man blend in this briar pipe that belonged to my grandpa, and a cup of coffee to go along with it. Today's story, it's a tale so soaked in mystery and mountain lore that even the trees seem to whisper it. The Logston Tide. So grab your pipe, pour some coffee, and let's step back in time to trace the strange legacy of James Calvin Logston and the tide that rose with him. Let's say a great big thank you to the fine folks at the Gatlinburg Tobacconists, nestled right in the heart of Gatlinburg, Tennessee, in the Mountain Mall on Level D. Whether you're a seasoned pipe smoker or just curious about the good leaf, Gatlinburg's got a blend for every palate. These folks know their way around the tobacco barrel. Stop by the shop if you're in the Smokies, or check them out online to bring the next mountain air to your mailbox. The Gatlinburg Tobacconists, where the smoke's always smooth and the stories are even smoother. Our story begins in the rugged hills of Fentress County, Tennessee, in November 1868, which, by the way, is where many of my own kinfolk hail from. The Galloway family, Lucinda Galloway, her daughter Catherine, and Catherine's young son, were brutally murdered in their home with an axe near Wolf River in Pall Mall, Tennessee. One survivor, 8-year-old James Galloway, was left for dead, but miraculously survived and later identified the assailant as Cal. James Calvin Cal Logsdon was a young man from Kentucky, living with his grandfather in Tennessee, and he was arrested for that crime. Cal was born June 17, 1849, in Kentucky to parents Philip Logston and Margaret Brown, who were separated at this time. Despite his claims of innocence, he was tried 3 times, each time resulting in a guilty verdict. The Tennessee Supreme Court upheld the final decision, and Cal was sentenced to hang at the age of 22, being the last man to hang in Jamestown, Tennessee. Even though Cal insisted he was innocent, there are more murders that he could have been involved in, and probably leaves more than just a few questions surrounding this young man. Many speculated that Cal's 2 aunts had actually been the culprits due to their dislike for the Galloway mother and her relationship with their father. But others stated that there was just no possibility of women being able to perform such a heinous act.
What?
Subsequently, Cal's 2 aunts testified against him in order to gain immunity. On April 5th, 1872, Cal Logston faced the gallows in Jamestown, Tennessee. In a chilling turn of events, the rope broke twice during the execution, and on the third attempt, the rope didn't break. After the attending physician pronounced Cal deceased, they cut him down and put him in a box. Before his death, Cal proclaimed his innocence and declared that if he were innocent, 3 signs would follow. It would rain for 3 days and nights, leading to an unprecedented flood of the Obi River. A century later, a multitude of poisonous snakes would emerge at his burial site. And the third, his innocence would be recognized through these events. Cal also reportedly said before his hanging, quote, "I want you all to take warning from this and meet me in heaven," end quote. Remarkably, after his execution, a sudden rainstorm began, which scared the daylights of everybody in attendance. And boy, there was a lot of people in attendance because such a heinous murder had occurred, and all these people were there to see this man hang. There was a big funeral sermon given before the hanging, and now it's began to rain. It rained for 3 days and nights, causing significant flooding and damage. And here's another kicker. In 1972, exactly 100 years later, a multitude of poisonous snakes emerged from the area near the elementary school that was built near his burial site. Professionals from the University of Tennessee had to be called in to rid the area of those snakes.
If you're headed for the lake or just daydreaming about it, swing by Lee's Bait and Tackle, found in the Northtown Plaza on top of the 4-lane in Oneida, Tennessee. They do have some live bait, they do custom plastics, and they have everything you need to land the big one. And if you don't know what the fish are biting, ask Lee. He's probably already caught it. That's Lee's Bait and Tackle, where the minnows are lively and the advice is free.
The events following Cal's execution gave rise to the legend of the Logston Tide. Many locals spoke of the uncanny fulfillment of Cal's prophecy, and his story became a staple of Appalachian folklore. Some believe that Cal's spirit still lingers, seeking justice for a crime he claimed he didn't commit. Visitors to his grave have reported strange occurrences, and the tale continues to captivate those interested in the paranormal. The legend serves as a haunting reminder of the mysteries that can surround historical events.
Sewell's Woodworks on Etsy is turning out some of the finest products and goods this side of the Mississippi. Whether you're settling down for a briar full of fine pipe tobacco, or you're looking for a gift that'll knock the socks off of anybody, you'll find it at Sewell's Woodworks on Etsy.
Let's open up the Pine Grove mailbag. Hey, Pine Grove, I just finished your Judge Roy Bean episode. Is he really a judge or just a guy with a gavel and a mustache? That was from Bill in Galveston. Bill, Judge Roy Bean was about as official as a bootlegger's marriage license. But by Texas standards, that was plenty. He was more bark than law book, but his influence stuck around. Great episode to revisit if you like saloon justice. Teresa in Charlotte said your Dennis Martin episode gave me chills. Any updates on the missing boy cases in the smoke? Still unsolved, Teresa. There's new tech being used in search and recovery, but as of now, Dennis remains one of the most haunting disappearances in American history. I suspect we'll revisit that story again, maybe from another angle. We appreciate all of your questions and comments, and if you'd like to drop us a line, you can email us at pinegrovebriar@gmail.com. And if you'd like to help support the show, I'll drop a link in the description on how you can do that. It'll help keep the lights on and our pipe lit.
I want to say a great big thank you to our friends at Hometown Pickleball, where friends become rivals and rivals become friends again after a few volleys. Whether you're a dinker, a smasher, or still figuring out what in the world the kitchen means, Hometown Pickleballs gets your paddles, nets, and local league signups covered. It's America's fastest growing sport, and now it's got a home in your backyard. Hometown Pickleball. Bring the game, bring the laughs, and maybe a little ibuprofen.
James Calvin Logsdon died in 1872, but his story lives on. His tombstone, simple and worn, sits beneath a dogwood tree where the fog clings thick year-round. Some say if you visit in late spring when the moss is soft and the air smells like rain, you'll hear water trickling where no creek flows. The tide, they say, never really leaves. It just waits for a name to wake you up. Special thanks to our friend Latham Hull for inspiring this episode. So tonight, maybe light a candle, pack a pipe, be careful whose name you whisper before bed. I've been your host, and this has been the Pine Grove Briar. Thanks for listening. Till next time, keep your pipe lit, your powder dry, and your stories true.